So this Israeli guy, sadly, was interviewed and spoke about how all of these wars with Iran, with Hezbollah and Lebanon are all political and there's no actual goal, rhyme, or reason behind them. And man, do I have a word to say. Let's take a gander.
Two senior far-right Israeli ministers have called for an escalation of military operations in Lebanon. It's a direct violation of the ongoing ceasefire deal that was extended last week between the two countries. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich called for strikes on Beirut to counter Hezbollah's drone attacks, saying for every explosive drone, he said, 10 buildings must fall in Beirut. While the National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, called for a return to, quote-unquote, an intense war. He posted on X, "It's time for the Prime Minister to bang on Trump's table and inform him that we are returning to war in Lebanon. We need to cut off the electricity in Lebanon, conquer Dahieh, and return to intense war." Joining us for more on this is Ori Goldberg. He's an Israeli political commentator, and he joins us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Ori, for joining us. This just comes actually as Benjamin Netanyahu has said he's essentially saying they've got to intensify strikes against Hezbollah. So they've got three, the Prime Minister and two of his ministers, all really at the moment trying to increase the war fighting capability of Israel within in southern Lebanon. Surely this has got a political dimension to it as well.
Most definitely. At the same time Netanyahu is doing this, he is orchestrating in shady back rooms a political deal that will disqualify at least one of the Israeli-Palestinian parties that are expected to run in the upcoming election, thereby ensuring that Israeli-Palestinian participation will be significantly lessened, and that means that his opposition will have less of a chance to remove him from office. This is all political. This has absolutely nothing to do with security. It has nothing to do with any kind of resolution. It hasn't even got anything to do with winning a war. Just as we saw in Iran, Israel is not in it to win it. Israel is in it to destroy as much as possible, to create facts in the field, and to buttress Netanyahu and his partner's political agenda.
It's also being portrayed as a land grab too. Would you go along with that?
No, actually, I wouldn't. I don't think it's a land grab. I think the great majority of Israelis, and you need to remember that there's always a home front for these extremist settler ministers. And on the home front, they have to confront a majority of Israeli Jews who have no wish to see settlements in Lebanon. What they really want, the majority of most Jews, is just emptiness. Okay? They want a 10-kilometer strip, a 15-kilometer strip, or whatever, where they don't have to see Lebanese operatives, be they military or Hezbollah. And that fits very well with what Israel did to Gaza. You know, Israel erased Gaza. It didn't seek out particular military achievements. It wanted Gaza gone. It wanted the Palestinians gone. You don't necessarily have to kill them to make sure that they're gone. You can encourage them to ethnically cleanse themselves. But that was the whole point of making Gaza the oblivion that it is now. And that is exactly what is happening in Lebanon at the moment.
Ori, what price will Benjamin Netanyahu exact from Donald Trump to stop fighting in southern Lebanon if it's all part of this Iranian peace deal?
Well, that's a good question. There are a lot of people, smart, well-versed, knowledgeable, who believe that Netanyahu still controls Trump, either through funding or through AIPAC. The recent defeat of Congressman Massey seems to be an indication that AIPAC still has its strength. And in that case, Netanyahu can basically demand to continue fighting on one of these fronts. It doesn't matter which, because a war is very much important for his election preparations. But if you'll allow me to speculate for a second, I don't think Netanyahu wields that much clout over Trump anymore. I don't think Trump trusts Netanyahu. I don't think Trump, even with the magic that's usually ascribed to Jewish donors, I don't think Trump sees himself in Netanyahu's debt or in the debt of any one of those donors. I think Trump is genuinely trying to get out of the worst quagmire he has managed to sink himself in. And when that is the case, when it's an existential quandary, Netanyahu, and especially when Netanyahu is as weak as he is, and that's an important point. Israel can expand tremendous lethal power and still be very weak because it has no options and no vision and no sense of what it means to win. Netanyahu is weak. Israel is weak. Trump knows this weakness. Trump smells weakness. So I, for one, seriously doubt whether Netanyahu can exact any kind of serious toll.
Does Netanyahu, Smotrich, and Ben-Gvir really, are they at the moment a good image of the body politic of Israel?
Good question. There's certainly an image of a significant part of the body politic of Israel, and that's the part that's been saying all the quiet parts out loud. Where once, Israelis did not talk about the need to make all the Palestinians go away. Now that's considered very civil discourse. But there's a difference between Netanyahu, Smotrich, and Ben-Gvir. Netanyahu really does have a very broad constituency who dislike his personal demeanor, but really don't see anybody who can replace him effectively or do something that he doesn't do because they support his genocidal policies. Both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir are sectorial leaders. Their base is not expanding. They will never be leaders of a national movement. Each of them has his own agenda. Ben-Gvir is a provocateur. He just wants to set the whole place on fire. Smotrich is a hardcore religious right ideologue, but neither of them has the ability or the political capital to ultimately threaten Netanyahu as potential heirs apparent.
Ori, thank you so much for joining us. Ori Goldberg, an Israeli political commentator, joining us there live from Tel Aviv.
There's so much to say. There's nothing worse. There is nothing worse for the Jewish people and for Israel than a guy like Ori Goldberg. Because he, like so many leftist Jews in Israel and in the diaspora, they look at everything from an academic lens. They try to make every single geopolitical discussion and every conflict between the Western world and the Muslim world, or the free world versus the theocratic world. It's all about dialogue. It can all be solved by just making sense of things. Does Bibi Netanyahu want to keep his chair? Absolutely he does. He thinks he's the best guy for the job. He likes the seat. Does he like power to some extent? Could be. He's a powerful man. Powerful people like power. People like power. I don't negate that there's no element of that, but he's done a tremendous amount of good for the state of Israel and a tremendous amount of good for the Jews. Has he made mistakes? Absolutely. Has he, in certain respects, been the reason that Hamas continued to build tunnels knowingly? Yeah. Are there things I don't agree with? Oh, for sure. Do we have a better option right now? I don't know. If we did, I would vote for that person. I think Tzvi Cheskeli would be a great leader. But all in all, these wars need to be fought. And when this Ori Goldberg guy says Israel's weak and Israel doesn't have Israel is Israel is incredibly powerful. The stock market has gone up. The value of the shekel has gone up. They have tested numerous weapons. They're building more. The Israeli economy is going through tough times. The people are more resilient than ever. The country ain't going nowhere. And God willing, Israel will become fully self-reliant in the next decade. It's not going to be an easy move, but hope to God it happens. And Israel will become, if it isn't a powerhouse now, which it is, it'll become enormously more powerful once that happens. This Ori Goldberg guy talks about Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. At the end of the day, let's call a spade a fucking spade. They understand their enemy. Ori Goldberg, with his earrings, I mean, the earrings don't necessarily make a difference, but he's a liberal. If he was in the prime minister's chair, he probably wouldn't have invaded Gaza. These are the kinds of people that want to have coffee with people who want to slaughter them. He would have been the guy on the Gaza border that was inviting Hamas members in to have a coffee with him. We have a big problem. We have a big problem among Jews. He thinks that all of this is political and we have no reason to fight. Hezbollah is shooting missiles nonstop into Kiryat Shmona, into Israeli northern towns. What's Israel supposed to do? Now, the key here is that Israel has to finish its wars. They need to take up to the Litani, up to the river at the very least, and keep that position until Hezbollah disarms. If Hezbollah doesn't disarm, the land doesn't come back. Settlements don't need to be built. You can build factories for all I care. You could build absolutely nothing. But the Lebanese, surely Hezbollah members, do not get to have any parcel of that land if they are bent, if their sole mission is destroying the state of Israel. Period. Period. This Ori guy goes, oh, we shouldn't be fighting in Lebanon altogether. Oh, okay. So what? The 60,000 Israeli citizens of the north should just forever not live there so we can please the Lebanese? Like, the beautiful thing about Jews is that we always disagree and we always have our 50 million opinions. But, like, man, like, how do you not understand that with all of the bullshit, with all the bureaucracy and the nonsense, and there isn't any shortage of it, these wars need to happen. Iran's not a threat to Israel and the US. It's sure as hell a threat to Israel. It is literally funding groups that attack Israel. Literally the main funder of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. How in the world does that not compute? I don't understand. I don't understand these leftists. I don't get it. Somebody please explain to me. Somebody please explain it to me. On this has been a wrap. Make sure, of course, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Smash the like button, leave your comments, and you can support the channel by hitting the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. It would mean the world to me if you could show some thanks. Until next time.